chat box. There we go. Unfortunately, now all your chat is gone, but that's okay. All right, so we are going. All right, so for today, what we're hanging out with is we're going to be looking at pitch and all that fun stuff. Ooh, woo, whack. Yeah, I don't know. I also need to update OBS, so that's going to be fun later. I know you have, Warrior. We all saw. So we're going to be dealing with some sight singing, or I'm going to be doing some sight singing as we kind of work through some stuff because you all decided you wanted to do pitch. And then we're going to kind of talk about changes that are coming this week in terms of everything. So let's get over here. So when we are talking about the changes in pitch, we kind of have two main things that we're looking at. Remember that pitch changes, it's an up-down. Rhythm is left to right, pitch is up-down. So higher the note, the higher the pitch. Down lower, the lower the pitch. So one of the main things that we do is when we are talking about pitch and trying to figure out, good, my audio is on, trying to figure out interval. I'm going to type that out for you here real quick. So when we're looking at interval, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. I want text. Not box, just plain text. So like that, the interval, that's the distance between one note and another. So the distance between those two notes. As I keep moving all this around, we're going to mute it temporarily. So the distance from here to here is called an interval. It can be as big or as small as we need it to be. It's just going to depend on where it is. Intervals are most commonly just counted out as the distance between them. And you got to count the lines and spaces between them. So I'm going to move this up on the staff so it's a little bit easier for us there. All right, so when we're talking about intervals, we go the distance from this note to this note right here, correct? So what we're looking at is when we start counting, we always start with 1. We don't start with 0. So we're always going to start with a 1. And then we just count the lines and spaces. So if this is a 1, space 2, line 3, space 4. So this is a 1 to a 4. So we would just call this interval a fourth. Because the distance from here to here is a fourth. We're going to adjust. So if we were to adjust from there, 1, space 2, line 3, space 4, line 5, space 6, line 7. So if we were to do that, that would be a 7th in there. And the way that we get that out is when we are in any scale, major, minor, doesn't matter. Every note gets assigned something a little different there. So I put the 1 back in parentheses because the 8, that's the octave, right? Because if we were to put these pitch names in there, thank you. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Repeat the alphabet C. So even though this is 8, it's really 1, right? Because the numbers just start all over again. So C to D, 1, 2. That's a second. C to E, 1, 2, 3. There's our third. C to F, fourth. C to G, fifth, C to A sixth, C to B seventh, C to C, while it's just 1 to 8, that's just commonly called an octave. So when we are talking about things there, that's what we're looking at, is we're looking at having that pop up. Does that make sense to everyone on kind of how we decided on the intervals for everything? Is it's just based off of the distance from this first note to wherever it is. This is a simplified version of it, of course, but that's what we're looking at. And there's a reason for all this, for all those of you who are like, I just wanted to get to the like sight singing pitch. Ooh, woo, 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 woo. Got it, Warrior. Warrior says yes. He must speak for everyone. Yee, cool. Stay hydrated. You gotta stay hydrated, man. This is Arizona. My hands are all cracked and it's not fun. It is not fun. All right, so I got 3 examples here. So from here, there's our 1 to a G. So an E to a G is going to give us 1 to 3. That gives us a third. The next one we have is an F to a D. So we're going to count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gives us a 6. Gives us a sixth. Then finally our G to an A. That one's an easy one. It's just the next one. 1 to 2. Yeah, like look at me. I don't know if you can tell, but my hands are all peely. And I'm not sure why. It might be my eczema, but whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, they're all cracked around the knuckles, but that's okay. One thing that helps out is, we'll do F, A, C, because this is an easy one right here. The lines and to the spaces, they're always going to be the opposite. So like 1, 3, 5, right? Those are all even numbers in the spaces until the octave switch. Then it changes. That means the lines are the even numbers. If the first pitch was on a line, that means 1, 3, 5 would be on the lines, and 2, 4, 6 would all be in the spaces. That's an easy way for you to kind of cheat it. So that way, if you're sitting there going, oh man, this is super far, I don't want to count it all. Okay, 1, 3, 5, next one up, 6. 1, the next one's on a line, 1, 3, because it skips, right? Because it goes line, space, line, space, line, space. So that's the idea behind it there. You don't necessarily have to sit there and like try and like squint and like, oh, how many lines is, because sometimes, you know, music's not well typed out. So we got that. All right, moving over to here. We have our, now when we're sight reading pitch, one thing that I know a lot of beginners are told is to do something like this. All of the notes, just write out the pitch name for every single one. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, F, E, D, C, D, E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D, C. All right, I got all my note names, I know them. But that doesn't really help us learn them, because then if we have a repeated passage, like right here, G, A, G, do we really need to write in the G twice? So that's why when we are writing in note names, what I actually recommend when you're struggling, viola people, is you do something like that. Tenor clef? I can throw one in tenor clef and make it interesting on myself. Is I recommend you do something like this. Is it goes up and then it goes right back down. So working on remembering the name rather than having it underneath it every single time. The other thing that helps is I see that this is scalar, meaning it goes line, space, line, space, line, space. and it pops up like that every single time, right? There aren't really any leaps around here. It just goes up, and it goes back down, and it goes up, and it comes back down. So without even having any starting reference pitch, I don't have my headphones on. They're right here. When I'm looking at it, I know it's probably going to go da 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 da. Starting note da 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 da. Because it's just going up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Or C, D, E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D. C, D, E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D, C. There's not really any large leaps. So by following that along, if I was to throw myself into tenor clef here, or people who are not following along, when they just open this up, they're about to... You want tenor clef or alto clef? Alto clef it is. They're about to be like, what the heck? So we have something like this, right? Let's say that the note names weren't there. I know that this is where C is. I see that I'm ascending up scalar. So C, D. I would have to go a little bit slower just because it is what it is. It is what it is. I want to remove their note names. We're gonna get rid of them. Let's make this interesting. Oops, I forgot. It was a whole note. All right. Here we go. We got a little viola passage in here. It's the same shape, pitch-wise, as you heard, as you got to hear me writing it all down. It's all the same pitch-wise. We're going to drop this down an octave. All right. It looks super high, but it's the same. Yes, it's the same exact thing melody-wise. Da 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 da. To be honest, it scared me. Yeah, that's why I dropped it down for you. All right, so let me get my starting pitch just so that way I know. If there was sound. Do cool. Do 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 do. So that's the basic shape. That's the sound it's going to make. And is it pitch correct? I don't know. It's 9:23 in the morning. That doesn't really matter. But what we can do is if I'm trying to say each note. All right, there's my C. So I'm starting on A. So what I would do is I would mark it A. Now I know it's going up and I know my alphabet. So A, B, C, D, E, F, E, D, C, B. Okay, so there's a longer note. So one of the things that I would also do to help me out is I would go like this. This is a B. This is an E. And now I have some reference points, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, E, D, C, B. A, B, C, D, E, F, E, D, C, B, A. And that's how you get faster at doing it. Like, as much as it sucks, it's like, I gotta practice it. It is something that you gotta practice. But we don't necessarily want you to write out every single note, because if you get used to seeing something like this, boom. If you get used to every single note name has this, it doesn't get your eye traveling and working through it, or working through whatever your instrument is, working through it to just recognize what the note is and write it in every so often. Like in my music, on the harder music, the EMCC stuff wasn't too terribly hard, but on the harder music, some of the stuff that I would do is when I would like look at a note and be like, I don't know that off the top of my head, I would just write it in. It's way easier. If there's a weird accidental in there, it is just something that I would just throw it in, pencil it in, and that's fine. I'm not necessarily writing out every single thing in the passage. Ooh, it's stuck in tenor clef. Hold on. We're going to put ourselves back in treble clef. Haha. There we go. All right, so we're in 3/4. Now we're looking at this example right over here. So if you notice, it's just one long descending scale downward. C, B, A, G, F, E, F, E, D, C. And so when I'm trying to like get it in my ear and I'm trying to figure out like, okay, how does this sound? Da. Sure, that's going to be my starting point. It's all going to be descending. Da is the highest that I'm going to sing. So da, 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 da. I'm going from a G to an A. So I'm going back up. Da, 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 da. F. Da, 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 da. So one thing that to point out real quick is it's just a pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes down 4, up 1, down 4, up 1. Something about music to call out is that it is all about patterns. All about the patterns. So the quicker that you can kind of identify that and jump onto it, the easier things become. Only because until you get to like super difficult music, it doesn't really throw anything weird at you. Everything just kind of hangs out in the similar patterns. I have an F flat in one of the pieces. Yes. I knew what you meant, Alex. Yes. Yeah, it's things like that, where it like throws an F flat, E sharp. I've had B sharps before. I've had C flats before. Those are the ones that I usually write in, just because it's not something that you commonly see. So it's just easier to write it in, just so that way you can look at it. But when you sit there and you have every single note name in, and you can't move fast through music, we have someone who sometimes holds us back when we're sight reading, right? Because they have to write in all the note names. And then the other thing that helps out is if you have your instrument in your hand, finger along as you're saying the notes. You don't necessarily have to sing it. Like if you can't sit there and go da 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 da, that's perfectly fine. But if you can at least sit there and go C, B, A, G, F, E, F, E, D, C, and you're fingering along with it, that helps out momentously, because the hardest skill that a lot of people struggle with when they're transferring from becoming a beginner to just it's a skill is being able to look at it and go A, fingering, B, fingering, D, fingering, C, fingering, and just knowing it off the top of their head like that. Ooh, another little exercise. So, when we start getting to leaps like this, C to G, this is just simplified 1 to 5. So that's the leap of a fifth. C, I should probably make sure I'm in the right key for you guys. Really? I was pretty close. It is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. C C G G A A G F F E E D D C G G F F E E D G G F F E E D C C. It's written off over here, off to the side, but C C G G A A G F F E E D D C. But notice how like quickly Warrior's like, I know what it is, and that's a great skill to have. Is like most of the stuff that's hanging out in here is designed to be accessible. So it's one of these things where with music, one of the things that helps me learn really quickly is just listening to it. If I can hear it and then I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's how that's supposed to sound. Oh no, not the beginning. If I can hear it, I can typically learn it a lot faster. Always have been. Drove my high school band director nuts because he'd try and get us to sight read, and I'd be like, I don't want to sight read. And then I got to college and was like, oh no, I have to sight read. So just being able C C G G A A G F F E E D D C, singing it like that is often an easy way to get used to looking at the note, saying its name, and getting a pitch to it, as opposed to just kind of like that's a little bit harder just because you're not putting any shape to it there. So we have the whole thing. There it is, all written out. Here's a choir one, this little example. So I changed the key on us, so let me get my new pitch. Da. So, Joanna, it's a choir one. Do you know what choir song or choir warm-up is this right here? By looking at it. Let's see if she can figure it out. We might have to give her a second because she tends to be a little behind on the stream. So it starts, yeah, we typically play it in this key too. Da. So we have, it's do, mi, fa, so, if that helps you out, or 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5. What's the space between two notes called? That's called an interval, and I'm glad to see you opened up the DFA, Matt. The space between, or the distance between two notes, is called an interval. Everyone should get that question right on the DFA now. What a coincidence. The thing you chose is also kind of the thing that the DFA... D, F sharp, G, A. I just wrote the rhythm a little weird. D, F sharp, G, A. Madison coming in with the save. Yep, so we got, it's the beginning of Saints. Yep, it's the round. So we have D, F sharp, G, A, D, F sharp, G, A, D, F sharp, G, A, F sharp, D, F sharp, E. So sometimes, like rhythmically, things might not be set up the same way they are. There's only so many patterns in music. So if we were playing along, da 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 da. Once you kind of got in, once you would kind of get into it and you hear it, you're like, oh, okay. That's the idea with the sight singing with the pitch and stuff. Is just kind of trying to get da da da, even if you're not 100% on pitch. Like even if he's hanging a little higher, da 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 da. You're like, huh? That's similar. Okay, I can kind of work around that. And that's the idea. Is it might not be on, but it kind of starts giving you the idea. How many more we got? We got one more. So this is just a common one that everyone just kind of needs to learn. This is called going in thirds, right? 1, 3. because that's the distance between each one. This is just a simple da 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 da. 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3. Even though that's not really their pitches, we have 1 3 2 4 3 5 4 6 5 7 6 8 7 2 1 as it's going through. But that's just the common one, where like when you're looking at it, you're like, there's all these notes. But if you break it down and you ignore half of it, if you just break this down, bum bum, down 1, up 2, down 1, up 2, down 1. Oh, it's just going in thirds. Da 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 da. It's just looking at it and trying to figure it out. Don't try and necessarily, when you're sight reading for pitch, don't necessarily try and go instantly. We'll give people a hint here. Moving in thirds up. Just that way. And I guess we should tell them. We should tell them what this was called too, right? Right. And so then it's just looking at it quickly and being able to use what you know to kind of get there. That's the main thing. Is for some of us we sight read well, for some of us we don't sight read well. It's about using what's already in your head to get there quickly. So on Wednesday there is going to be this week there's going to be one sight singing example, and I'm not grading you on like how good does it sound. Everybody's being graded on, can you at least get the shape of the line? And I know for some of us it's going to be easy, for some of us it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, but the idea is, can I look at it and can I get the sound of the line coming out? Because that's one of the things that we struggled with and we're going to be working on this year, where we not have all stuck here, is a lot of us were getting bogged down in the mechanics of, oh my gosh, there's this crazy rhythm, it's going up and down. Just slow down and try and get the sound out of it. Like with flutes and stuff, with that sonio, with those like 6-7 tuplets, we're just kind of looking at it, we're like, I don't know what that sounds like. Well, we know it's an ascending scale, and then we have that little figure that kind of trades around with clarinets, and slowing that down just so that way we could hear it. So overall, does anyone have any questions about the like sight reading pitch and how to start getting better at it? On Wednesday, we're going to look at more rhythm stuff. We're going to be looking at 16th notes. So that's going to be an interesting one.